So don't wait to reach out to people just because you remember them the way they used to be. Look at the person that they could become.
I love that, Amber. Wow. Yes. Letting people like start over with a new slate. And when you take the time to get out there and connect with people, whether they be from your past or whatever, you get to learn all the things that have gone on in their lives. You get to connect, you get to slow down, figure out where they're at, and then we can show up to really be in people's lives and serve them. I love that. Great. That's a great point, Amber. Do we want to do one more, Brad?
No, let's jump in.
Jump on in.
You're the host.
Okay.
You want to share the screen?
Yep. Let me get mine.
No.
Let me grab it.
All right. As Dawn's getting the screen set up, guys, I want to welcome you to Coffee and Consistency. We are in week number 4. 107 people on, ready, injecting coffee into themselves this morning. And I want to congratulate you all for being here today. There's something powerful about being consistent.
No.
And there's something powerful about being unmuted. Just kidding. Love you, Debbie. We all hit the unmute button every once in a while. Dawn's going to kick us off today and be our host. She's amazing at this. But one thing I want to tell all of you guys is it's the middle of the month. We have some great things planned. It's going to be a little bit more of a relaxed training today, and I want you to pay attention and take diligent notes, but pay more attention to the feel about today, because today we're talking about a couple structural things, but also integrating clients. And so you guys have been killing it. You guys have been consistent. I do want to address some things with you guys all. This is Coffee and Consistency. Some of you guys won't know what I'm talking about. You guys are like killing it. You're feeling it. It's all good. Some of you guys are getting a little bit wobbly right now. And that's okay, by the way. You're not meant to be perfect. What I want you guys to know is that this is a practice, and the stuff that was just being shared there, Suzanne, Amber, it comes from consistency and practice. That's why we have this support community. So today is for you, middle of the month, just a little few days past, to really cement in some of these things and actually pay attention to all the victories, what you've been growing in, and what's going to happen as you keep this consistency up, like Suzanne seeing, like Amber just shared there, all those great things. We're going to take this up to the backside of the month, and you're going to see a lot of great things coming from. So stay the course, stay consistent, and pay attention to the goals from today, because we've got a lot of great things for you. So Dawn, kick us off today.
I love it, Brad. Yes. Are we recording?
We are good. I made sure to grab what Amber was saying because it was so good. So I got her recording.
Just wanted to make sure. All right, guys. And seriously, not even joking, congratulations on being here, because we're kicking into week 4. And just a reminder, I mean, you guys have been doing this, but this is really for senior coaches and above. But you know what? As you're a new coach, you're coming in, you're learning this stuff. Senior coaches moving on to executive directors. So many people are going to be hitting new ranks this month, right, Brad? Executive directors. Lots of people are going to be moving into the regional director. Lots of people moving to that 10,000 and above frontline volume. And just a reminder, everyone training on these calls runs 10,000 and above consistently. But really some awesome things happening. You guys are showing up and doing this. A lot of you are even learning this at a higher level and how to jump in and teach with your teams. So a lot of good stuff happening as we're heading into week 4. Can you kind of feel it? It's being solidified, becoming more natural, and really having a lot of fun in the process. So we've talked about so many awesome things in the first 3 weeks. We've talked about setting up our month, creating connections in social media, really bringing value. Last week, oh my gosh, if you haven't rewatched that recording or watched it or caught it yet, it was amazing. Just really how to share the program, really talking about referrals and, dripping on coaches and that follow-up piece. This week, you guys, we're going to kind of simplify it. And we're going to be talking about our mid-month pulse check. Brad's going to be talking about really how to support clients, that simple art of supporting clients in their first 30 days. And really talking a little bit more about the steps to do that. And, we have a little surprise at the end for you. So don't log off early. You're going to want to hang on for this. So week 3, we really, I heard you guys sharing at the beginning of the call, 3, 3, and 3. George, rocking that. So many of you guys are jumping in consistently, posting authentically, maybe even stepping outside your comfort zone, getting out there in the social media world or in your real world a little more than you had been, adding friends and slowing down to start those conversations so you can really get connected with people. Last week, we watched those 2 videos, that 11-minute one with Brad and I really doing an overview of the program, and then that beautiful short 3-minute Optavia transformation video that literally shares and layers coaching. So going to be a little weird if we're not talking about that out there in the world as we're talking with people. So if you haven't watched those videos, grab them. They're amazing. I use them all the time. And then really practicing our schedules. Like Brad said, it's not about being perfect. And I shared last week, I didn't come out the gate with this beautiful schedule and, having it all dialed in. And honestly, it's still a practice, but people are showing up, practicing those schedules, just getting a little more dialed in and into your groove each week. And I bet you can probably feel that, because if we're heading towards the back end of the month, this is the week when really our schedules are either humming along and we're getting better at it, or they're kind of starting to, like Brad said, get wobbly and fall apart. And that's okay, right? We're not meant to be perfect, but if you're feeling a little wobbly and things right now, take a second, do a pulse check. Are you staying consistent to your schedule? Are you really, really working on that? Because that's where oftentimes things start to fall apart a little bit. And then we're really going to be talking today about kind of taking a pulse check and then starting those 2 clients. Brad, I don't know about you, but we've got a lot of people who started more than 2 clients in the first couple weeks of the month, right?
Oh yeah, seeds are being planted right now. People are staying consistent, and what you're seeing, guys, is the endless amount of connections. Connecting with people is so simple, and if you guys have been doing it, staying true to that, you're seeing the fruit, just like Suzanne was talking about, like Amber was talking about. So keep that up. This is a mid-month pulse check for you to be able to keep going on the energy. So Dawn, I love it. Let's keep going.
Yep, and just keep that up. So you guys, today is the 19th. We're really going to do this. Last week, you probably grabbed some time with your mentor. You probably shot that map over. Brad, I've been seeing tons of maps, did lots of mid-month pulse checks last week with just where are you at today? So if you haven't done that, do it. A lot of you already did, so congratulations for doing that. That is really the pace of someone who's growing. Someone who wants to go to that next step, that next competency, they're grabbing that time with their mentor. So check and see, where are you at today? Where's your frontline volume? What rank are you at? What are those smiley faces looking like in the back office? The transactional creates the transformation. So it's important to know these things. So literally grab a second right now and check, where are you right now? How many new clients have you brought on this month? How many partners are you laying with or who've already gotten started? And then where are you projected that you're going to go to? Okay. What are you actually set to hit as of today to the end of the month? And then what are you declaring that you're going to do? You guys, the map, Brad, you've seen it a few times this month. I keep shooting it over to you in texts. But where did you declare you were going to go at the beginning of the month? Where are you declaring right now, as of today, that you want to be when you lay your head down on your pillow the last day of the month? Declare it, and then we get to go do it. So connect with your support team. They want to hear from you. They want to connect with you. You're not bugging them, I promise. So if you want to grow, please reach your hand out, send them a private message. I don't care if you do it right now, but send them a private message. And if you haven't connected already for your mid-month, just a pulse check so that you can really get clear on declaring where you want to go. Do it right now. Grab a time and then put this in your schedule to repeat. I love how Brad says it's like Groundhog Day. Like the month comes and we have a beginning, a mid-month pulse check, and then you get to have a whole lot of fun and go out and do a lot of actions and a lot of connecting towards the end of the month. So Brad, anything you wanted to add right here before I click to the next?
Yeah, guys, I put that out there as a thing in the on the Facebook page. So hopefully you guys did it. And if you're not doing it right now, so what I would do is grab the piece of paper. Hopefully you guys all have a notepad right now. And what I would do is I want you guys to practice doing this. Where are you currently at in your business today? This is the measure of anyone that's actually changing lives. We're bringing you guys the best of the best from the people that are changing the most lives. Guaranteed, because my schedule was full this week, talking to a lot of people. Just want you guys to feel what it's like when you write down, okay, where am I at? getting some clarity on where I'm going, and declaring where you're going to be by the end of it. That's the recipe for success right there. And just the clarity that brings, it's straight up structural tension. It's right out of the Habits of Health book. So it's so key. And then yes, put it on repeat in the schedule. There's my calendar right there. Mid-month checks on the 15th. It is what all the best of the best do. So speaking of that, well, I think we're going to have Carlene come on and share a couple little tidbits on this, because this girl, her and Mike have been rocking some really good structure this last little bit. And you're seeing it in your business, Carlene. You've done this yourself, what we were talking about here. So as someone, you and Mike are new global directors. You guys have started up this in your world. Can you come bring on some of the benefits and just share some of the wisdom that has been helping you with putting that into your schedule, and just some other of the basic structures and skills? Or anything you want to bring and share today with us?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, and good morning, and congratulations for staying consistent and being here today, because you are going to get some powerful stuff. I told Brad yesterday it was a little crazy morning, so you get to see my world and how being consistent and staying with the structure is important. My little one fell and had a pretty bad fall, and Brad was like, no. And I said, I am coming this morning because I want to lean in for you guys. I want you guys to see how no matter what's going on in my life, when you have a vision, a passion, and you lean into these, this is key. Nothing gets in your way. So I'm here, as you see, and I told Brad, I'm a team player. I got this. So this is huge, guys. Let me tell you, Brad and Kelly have worked with me so amazing on the key to really leaning into your mentors. And right at the end of the month, back in the day when I was a baby ED, I used to scramble at the end of the month all the time. And Brad and Kelly saw that. And when they taught me how important it is to really come at the end of the month and start planning ahead, and really like the first of the month already popping in my support message, like raising my hand, like, please, I'm ready to meet. Let's do this. I show up with my map. I show up with my numbers. I know where I am. I put my CE hat on, and I know what I'm going to do. So the big thing is really in the morning, I have taken this time to do this. So when I show up at the first of the month, I have all of my numbers. We go through the action steps. Then I also do the 15th. I'm raising my hand and asking for a pulse check. But the big key I want to stress that's been so amazing is what my mentors have taught me. Me and Mike have taken our time and have taught this to our team. It is so important for our team because we know the benefit and the value of this. So if we know how important it is to really know our numbers, really know where we are, instead of scrambling at the end of the month because we put our CEO hat on, we're going back to our team and we're teaching them how to raise their hand at the first of the month, bring their map, bring the numbers, know where they are. The 15th of the month when they're doing their pulse checks, we know their numbers, but when they meet with us, we want to see that they know their numbers. This is key, like you hear all the time. Teach it to them, watch them show you that they can do it, and then watch them teach it to their team. So this is how you're doing those checks to make sure that what you're teaching, your team is grasping. So we know the importance of that, and so we're really taking our time to make sure that our team knows their numbers, because when you know your numbers, you can come to your mentors and we can actually plan with you, take action, tell you exactly what's going to be needed, and you're not scrambling anymore because you are so prepared and you have planned all this. I want to show you that I am like tracking with my team. I know my team's numbers. I'm taking notes. And so this is so key. It's a game changer. So when you're hearing leaning on the structure, this is like the game changer structure, guys. So I have a couple quotes I wanted to share. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Always have a plan and believe in it, and nothing happens by accident. And action is the foundational key to all success. So again, guys, really the game changer, know your numbers. If you don't know how to do pulse checks, you don't know how to do the growth chart, lean into your mentors. This is the game changer that you're wanting. The light bulb goes off. You know exactly how to look at your business, know how to plan for things. You know what it's going to take. You're not like leaving your business up to chance anymore. So I hope this helps, and I'm so proud of you guys, and definitely try this out. I promise it'll change your business.
Dang, Carlene. I love it. Thank you so much. And also really glad that your little one's okay. Way to show up with your CEO hat on, eager to learn. I hope y'all caught just the vibe and energy that Carlene has. You know, you might not have understood all the things she was talking about, like a growth chart or whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is she shows up eager to learn. She raises her hand. She reaches out to Kelly and to Brad. She's like, show me, teach me. I want to practice. I want to get this so that I can help others get this. And love that you highlighted, you know, the transactional brings the transformational, because guys, when we're scrambling at the end of the month, there's nothing that sucks the life out of us helping others than that. Like, so when you know where you are and you know what you've declared and you know who you're helping and all of that, it brings the joy in, and it brings where you can really keep your heart focused on helping people. So I love that. Know your numbers, know where you're at. And if you want to learn and grow and you have questions with any of that, don't hesitate to reach your hand up and ask. Those quotes are so awesome, Carlene. Just way to nail that. I want to bring Brad on for a second. So as we were kind of thinking about today and what we were going to be talking about, we're going to be showing the art of supporting clients in their first 30 days, to really helping integrate them. And so, you know, been working with Brad for about 8 years now. He's my mentor. And if I can tell you guys anything, he and Ashley they do this, you guys. I have been out at their house with construction workers all over and equipment, I don't even know the name of it, you know, in their front yard doing all kinds of stuff. And these two are still working in structure, spending time with their little one, expecting their second one, but their clients love them. I've listened to Ashley do client calls. I've been in Brad's office and watched him work. And you know what? These guys, not only do they run as high or higher frontline volume than most other people here, they have clients that are integrated, that are in a process of getting healthy. And most of us who know how to help clients and to work in that way have learned it from them. So Brad, I just want to thank you for showing us how to do it, for leading from the front, because that's really what it's all about too. And you guys, as you're writing down on your blank piece of paper, listen to what Brad's saying, and kind of the flow of what he's going to talk about, because he's going to really jump in and show us some art right now. So Brad, I want to turn it over to you and just thank you for the last 8 years of mentorship and really doing this really well.
Thank you, Dawn. All right, well, I'm excited to be with you guys today. Let's get going. But before we get going, guys, I bet the coffee's kicking in by now, and I need some feedback. All right, guys, you guys have been being consistent this month. You've learned a lot of nuances, probably more than what you're even giving yourself credit for. So if you've seen an increase in your connections or in your skills, or have been seeing things bubble up better, type a 1 in the chat right now. I want to hear from you guys if things are increasing, because I know they have been. I've been talking with you guys. Consistency is the key, and everyone does the exact same thing. So let's see those ones, because I know it's happening. Today, who has their notepad? This is what I want you guys to bring right now, because usually we bring a lot of the steps, and I see a lot of people taking notes right now. So this is perfect. I want you guys to really listen to some of the artwork that a lot of us are going to share here. Collectively, we have the highest frontline volume runners speaking on the call over the next little bit here. And the topic is integrating clients for the first 30 days. We will back this up by some more steps over the next little bit, but I really want you to just hear that everyone does the exact same thing, and it is predictable transformation. And what's actually kind of cool from my standpoint on this is if you do these steps, sometimes clients aren't going to continue. You can know very confidently, it's like, okay, great, it wasn't their time. But honestly, here's the cool thing, and I hope this strikes a chord with you. I don't lose clients when they get started. There are simple things that I do, or when I'm doing them with client calls for our new coaches, that would blow your mind if you got to witness it. I want you guys to know I'm not perfect every single time. I am a human. Like, I do still have weird orders. I do have the things that are going on. But the measure is the connection you make with people. And we've been doing this for the past few weeks. We have been living authentically. We have been leading with our health. We've been doing our 3 and 3, making connections. That's why your guys' businesses are growing. Heads up, because it's the same things that happen every time. It's predictable. We're going to have a lot of rank advancements this month, and we're going to have a lot of personal bests. So congrats in advance, and also congrats for doing the steps there. All those things that like Carlene did, I literally was so full with things to do this week because people were getting into their rhythm. Lean on the structure of this throughout this process because it is predictable transformation. It almost makes you feel superhuman. Last week, so jumping in, it is all about creating integration with our clients. So for you new coaches that are in here, I want you guys to just think in terms of integration of clients. It's not getting them going and doing good on the weight loss. It's my gauge is how well they're integrating in my mind. That's what it's all about. And integration starts way before you ever get them on their first meal, like in their first fueling. So last week, Lindsay, Kelly, Tim nailed it with the share call. Did you guys all like that? Because like that, I thought it was incredible how they laid that out. I'm going to do a quick review of this because everything leads in. Like honestly, your client integration starts way before you ever talk to them, to be honest. It's how you live. It's doing the steps. It's not being perfect, but it's your branding. It's your message. It's everything that attracts people to you. Again, that's why we have the 3, 3, and 3. We have something incredible. And so what we're doing is speaking to people. So keep doing what you're doing. That consistency is breeding great connections. People are watching, whether they're commenting all the time or not, but more often than not, they are. So I want to share with you guys. You guys got your notepads ready? Perfect. And Dawn, as I go through here, I want you to add anything you can to this. I still to this day do the exact same thing you guys all do, or whether I'm doing it for a new coach that we're working with, or just sometimes we do calls with our team or myself. I grab this health assessment and I grab about 1 minute beforehand and I just get myself centered on this. It's all about posture and cadence and confidence on this. And then not just like straight confidence, but I want you guys to think about when you talk to your clients. Hey, Carlene, anyone that's called you up, have they lost 100 pounds? No, they haven't. No, they haven't. They need to listen up to what you have to say. Dawn, has anyone that's talking to you, have they lost 50 pounds coming from a nurse background and then lost it again and maintained it? Have they been doing that?
Nope.
No, they have not. You've got the goods, and this will change their life. So that's what I grab every time I grab a health assessment, and I look at that. First and foremost, so Tim and Kelly and Lindsay covered this perfectly last week. It's all about the intro. My first goal when I connect with somebody is to get them feeling very comfortable and let them know what we're doing here. Hey, how are you doing? I'm so excited we're getting to connect today. This call is all about you, so tell me what's going on, because I want to move right into steps 2, which is their current state, 3, desired future, and sharing my story throughout it. 2, 3, and 4, and 5, like Lindsay talked about last week, are literally a conversation. There are so many great questions on that paper, but you should be talking to them. You're talking to them, asking them questions, and people will reveal what matters to them if you just let them talk. It's your job to do the listening. Don't read them verbatim. I probably asked a quarter of these questions throughout the call. And if I need more, it's like, oh, cool, there's another question right there. But I want to know where they're at, and I want to know where they want to go. And then I want to ask a little bit further about where they want to go, because most people will sell themselves short. And I want to use my story because, honestly, the people don't care about your story, to be honest. Like Carlene, they don't care. I was talking about Carlene, she's on my screen right now. They don't care you lost 100 pounds. They just want to know it works. So I weave in my story through the conversation. And then my favorite part is the daily routine and habits. I want you guys pay attention to this part right here and write down these things. 1, you're building a relationship with these people, and people love to be complimented. Guaranteed, if you're listening well, they're doing something well in their health right now. Feel free to compliment them on that. Oh, you're drinking your water. Oh, you're exercising. Oh, you're trying to do this. You're wearing a Fitbit. Congratulations. You're already being mindful. This is going to be so great. Congratulate them on what they're doing. But my favorite question in this whole deal right here in the step number 5 is, what does your daily routine look like? So the genius of this one is not only are you going to get connected with them a little bit better on where they're at in their life, But you're also going to get to find out, like, are they in touch with reality? Because sometimes when clients talk to our pre-clients, they're talking to you, they're like, yeah, oh my gosh, I have 80 pounds to lose. And I start off the day with like a spinach smoothie, and then I have tofu at lunch, and then like I have steamed broccoli for dinner. It's like, no, you don't. That's not physically possible, or else, you know, that math doesn't add up. So you'll know if they're in touch with reality, or you'll know like what are their hiccups going to be? What is their real life? You're making a connection on you have, and the way I look at this, I have 30 days to build a strong connection with somebody, whether they're my best friend or they're a referral and I don't even know who they are. I have 30 days. By the time their next order comes, I'm building a strong connection with this person. So these are places you can take notes on all of this stuff. And you don't have to be a master at asking questions to be great at this. You just have to ask a few. But those are the things I'm looking for, and that's the beauty. And here's the thing too, that is genius about this health assessment, is most people are gonna be like, oh yeah, my day starts off by going here and I stop on this on my way to work, or I go out for lunch typically, or blah, 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 blah. Cool, this program's gonna save them money right now and then, and you get to point that out to them. And like Lindsay so brilliantly pointed out last week when she was talking about these questions that she asked at the front of the call, is that she meshes it all together. So she's already kind of explaining components of the program. She's already sharing a little bit. She's having a conversation. So this is so key. And Dawn, actually, we watched the chat from me. I see the chat blowing up, so I want to make sure I'm totally being mindful of that because I can't see it exactly. So anything I need to cover on the chat?
Just a whole lot of yeah and absolutely's and loving it, Brad.
Okay, perfect. So I'm on the right track. Okay.
I think so.
I'm fired up, guys. I love what I'm doing, and this is incredible. I feed off your energy. It's so good. So just keep remembering these basics. Then the next piece is when you start to figure out where they're at, or they're starting to ask you questions, then you move it into step number 6, which is right here. It's a different color for a reason, is we share our program. And remember, just like Lindsay said last week, and Kelly said also, we don't just like blurt the program at them. It's kind of a flowy conversation. And the artwork of sharing it together, like again, I want you guys to, if you remember one thing, be bold. What you're about to share with them is going to answer all of their problems, and that confidence is going to flow through you. And so if someone tells you they need to get healthy, or they need to lose weight, or they tried before in the past, or maybe, I mean, every single one of you know what I'm talking about. You know, if you were just like me, you were gaining weight, you had no idea what to do, you were trying to be at the gym, your family's unhealthy, like literally you're getting tired, and if you're like me, you had already bought new clothes. Okay, this program's going to be so good for you. I think this is going to be a great fit. So this is the way we explain it. And this is where I want you guys to take notes, especially for you new people, is just keep it super simple. This program has 4 components. 4 components. You have a health coach, habits of health system, community. Oh my gosh, the community is so key. You're going to love it. That's what Lindsay was talking about last week, about just like weaving in the different parts. Like, you're going to love that. And then we have fuelings. I have a pen on my hand. That's kind of embarrassing. My pen's leaking. Explain those 4 things, because if you start talking about the food, you've already lost them. Anyone here lose a client after the first month, or just complain about the food, or just literally drag you down? Like, nobody here has ever had that, right? Yes, we all have had that. When you do this, we're helping them make the decision for health, and we want them to know our 4 components. The last thing we talk about is the fuelings. So hopefully you guys are all writing that down. I see a lot of people taking notes right now. This is awesome. 4 components. Those are our 4 components. Lisa, great question. Health coach. Wait, I said, yeah. Health coach. Habits of health system. Community and fuelings. Nutrition plans. Whatever you say. So however that goes. So that's what's so key. And then I move right into it. The getting to the fuelings last, what that does is it lets them know that the food, because they're just thinking food, 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 food. And when you come to this, the fuelings are last, and it lets you go right into that. Okay, great. And by the way, most of them are already thinking 5 and 1. By the way, 5 and 1 is not our program. Eating 6 times a day is our program, and living an optimal, healthy life. So I say, great. I keep it super simple. So I hope you guys are taking notes on this. And Don, if you want to add anything, go for it. But I say our program is eating 6 times a day, and practicing that and helping people achieve optimal health. We have a few different plans that can assist you with that, but we are all about practicing and moving health forward. And so I say, most of the time, and just so for all you guys know, most of the time 5-in-1 plan is going to be the fit for them. Like obviously, no brainer. Like fat burning, fast weight loss, feeling good, simple. Like it's so easy. But we still don't want to assume. So, but also laying out that our plan is 6 times a day, you won't get clients that are like, oh, I can't do 5-in-1, so I quit. Because that's not our plan. Our plan is not 5-in-1. And by the way, people are going to have hiccups. And that is the thing that I see over and over and over again. People try to do this like a diet, and then they don't do good and they quit. If you learn these things, your clients will stay with you. And these are something that's going to happen because in the first 30 days, they're going to have a bad day, by the way. And when you postured this and you get to bring them back to that reminder, you're not going to lose them. And honestly, that's the magic moment I'm looking for a client. I'm going to get there in a second here. The long story short, I say, great. So we have a few different plans, but 5-in-1 is probably going to be the best fit for you. I mean, assuming so, or I'll talk about the other plans, 3-in-3, 4-in-2, whatever the case may be, nursing mothers. But you know what? It's simple. It's easy. I just keep the bare basics. You eat 5 times a day, and I can kind of reference back some of the things they said. I'm sorry, you eat 6 times a day. 5 of those are going to be our fuelings. They're easy, they're convenient. And 1 of the times a day, you're going to eat a meal. It's really easy. It's got an outline for you on it. It's super simple to do. And we have tons of recipes in our support page that you're going to love. I'm layering the other community pieces, by the way. All you do is do that. You drink your water, and you eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. It's so simple, and it's so easy. After 4 days, you get into a fat burning stage. Your body actually gets into an actual fat burning state, and you're going to feel good. You're going to have higher energy, and you're going to have low hunger while you're losing weight, and the weight comes off pretty quickly. I might say a little bit more based on the conversation, but that's all I say. Like, that's all they care about. Easy layout. It's going to work. Wait, low hunger. It's actually going to work for me. This works for you too. Fantastic. So that's the plan. And we do that. And we can always, and I always put this disclaimer, write this down if you're taking notes, please. I hope you're taking notes on this. And by the way, we can always change up your plan at any given point. This is about eating healthy and nutrition. That's how we're going to keep this off long term, especially when we dive into all components of this program. That's what's going to make the difference. So we can always change up your plan, but also we have a plan after you lose weight, because I'm going to tell you, the weight loss is actually going to happen. Believe it or not, the weight loss, I know this might not have been the case for you before, but weight loss is going to be the easy part. It's what we do after the weight loss that really makes the difference, because we're going to be living health.
So good, Brad. Oh my gosh. Boom. I've been writing notes. I have a question because I was just watching the chat, Brad, and Lynette asked something really great. How do you gently steer it back to this if they're making it about the food? Like, so if you're talking with someone and they're interjecting, what would be just an example of kind of taking it back to the 4 components? Or if they try to skip ahead, right? They try to skip to that 4th one when you're talking about number 1.
You know what's great is if you, again, don't try to be perfect on your calls. Anytime you're trying to be perfect, you're just going to mess it up. But just be there with that person. That's the big thing. But if you did a great job of asking them of where they want to be, just kind of redirect. Here's the simple answer. Ask another question. The person who asks the questions, this is going to sound not the way I mean it, but the person who asks the question controls the conversation. If they're asking about the food, ask them more about their health. We can't give away the how until we know the why. Is that helpful? Wait, who asked that, Don?
Lynette asked that.
Lynette. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you'll just get more comfortable with it. You can't say the right or the wrong thing to the right person and the right thing to the wrong person. But here's the thing. You know what? If they keep making about the food, you know what? Here's my favorite one. I literally use this. And you know what? That's a great question. Validate their question. It's very important that people feel heard. But I use this one. Hey, you know what? Like I'll share with you because that it actually is all part of something. It's a great question, but it's all part of it. And I'll actually tell you, it's worrying too much about the food that got me in trouble in the first place. So it's going to be great, or whatever the case may be. Like, but I kind of make a joke out of it. But it's like it all comes together. And I actually just share stats with you. If you guys want to know stats, clients that make it about the food don't do well. So feel free to share stats with people. Like, you know what? Like, validate their question, hear make sure they feel heard. But you know what? Like, I want to share a few more things about that because, the people that tend to focus on that, they don't do as well. And I'll explain why. Because tell me again about what it is that you want in your health, or why do you ask that question, or something like that. Like, ask a question back and then get that posture. Again, remember, if you remember one thing, write this down again, because I want you guys to get the feel of all this stuff. Next week, we're going to come with more bullet points. I just want you to get the feel. Anyone you're talking to, forgive my language, but you be a badass. Have they lost 30 pounds and kept it off? And do they have a body composition like I do? And have they survived having one kid and a pregnancy and a house build and all this stuff and been able to maintain their health with a family that was totally going the other direction? Like, it's not good. I don't have good genes. I have good health practices. Dawn, have the person you've talked to, you are a badass. There you go. Carlene, have the people you talked to, have they lost 100 pounds? Did their husband, who didn't eat vegetables before, are they like the picture of health, working out in the gym with you? No, they have not. They need to listen to you. We're not telling, but we need to make sure we bring some bold posture on this. What you've got does not compare to anything out there. And so that's what I want you guys to take away today. Come with this, and we'll guide them into this and give them the power. That's a great question. That's put me off on a tangent there. But Dawn, anything you want to ask about that?
No, just boom, and I love it. It's worrying too much about the food that probably got us all in a pickle in the first place. So how about we really focus on the habits and actually taking it off of the food and into what they want for long-term health. Yeah. So it was Brad.
Last thing on this is don't be thrown off. It's very much in people's brains to ask questions like this, to ask how questions when they really mean to be asking why questions. So just deal with it. Don't be thrown off by it. Ask other questions and also be bold on that. If you pay attention to what people say, it's going to be key. So explain the program, explain how it goes, explain how the 4 components play a big role in it. Again, do not talk about the food the entire time, or else your clients are only going to talk to you about the food and they're going to quit when the food's not perfect for them. I don't even make it about the food on the call. A little bit. The fact is that we all enjoy our food, so we should enjoy it a little bit, but I just don't make it all about the food. I make it about the system and the decision to getting healthy. Then lastly, after that, like Lindsay covered last week, I asked them if they have any questions. After I've explained, I need to make sure that they have any questions. I want to engage in conversation with them, just like I've been explaining the whole time. It wasn't a presentation. I did get to kind of flow. I get to bring in the things that they said, all of those things there. Great. Do you have any questions? They typically will have a few questions. They'll either be crazy questions or they'll be good questions. Either way, validate them. They're just the last things they need to know to clarify. Pay attention to what they're asking you. And again, make sure that you know that you're a badass. This person needs to get started on their health journey. Like, I've seen all the excuses. I've heard all the things. Guys, this program is the fit for people. And that's not pump up talk. It's just it's almost a decade of doing a lot of calls and talking to a lot of people. I know the BS that is behind people's life, and I know what people really mean behind a lot of their excuses. Be bold when you're sharing and see the match for them. So then lastly, answer their questions, and then boom. Here's the biggest one, because I did not do good at this in the beginning. Great. Would you like to get started? We can do that right now or whenever you're ready. For more reasons. 1, be proud for them to get started. Assume they want to get healthy. If they're talking to you, it's not because they just wanted to talk to you. They are curious and they want to know if this is going to work for them. Your confidence in getting them started and not being weird about it is going to be the big difference. So offer for them to get started. Also, be very clear on how it's going to go, or else they won't know what to do. Most clients think that there's this big process, or they need to go to a website. No, great. If you're ready to get started, all I need to know is, write this down. I just need to know where you want it shipped to and what card do you want it on. Boom. Oh, that's simple? Okay, great. Like, boom. Great. And they'll either say yes or no or whatever, or like, I'm ready, or ask more question, or blah, blah, blah. People will tell you what they need, like, etc. Like, they're grown adults. They'll be able to tell you if they're not ready or not. Your posture is so key. And that's why, again, this is one of my favorite things. I was actually out at a gathering when I was with a client, and there was a old client there that was a friend of theirs. And that person, we were talking about program, they were talking about how much they loved it. And the person was just, it was so funny. It was at a wedding. And the person goes, oh, that program's so expensive, the old client, to my current client that's killing it, and says, and then my current client goes, no, it's not. And then the old client goes, oh, okay, I guess it's not. That was all the facts they needed to make it to totally change their thinking right then and there. All right, I digress. The last thing is get their information. We start everyone with a variety pack. And if you've been wondering why, it's because it's simple, it's easy, it's duplicatable. And I always say, hey, there's a big variety in there. Most people get started. Most people want to do what most people want to do. And you're going to figure out your favorites in your first month. Again, I'm posturing long-term. You're going to figure out your favorites. So on your next order, because your next order is going to come up in 30 days, you're going to get a reminder, and you get to change all of the items. You're going to figure out your favorites. I'm not talking about what they like and don't like. I'm just like, it's fuel. You're going to figure out your favorites and your routine, because your first month's all about getting into the routine of this optimal health journey. Boom. And if they say, oh, I want to try this, I want to try that, or maybe their friends had food, great, we can customize up to 5 items. Because if I go line by line, 1, that's a waste of my time. There's more people I can be getting healthy. But 2, I'm making it about the food, and I'm already training their mindset to go the wrong way. Lastly, boom, I think I made the point because Lindsay covered it last week. The thing is I always leave them with what's next. Great, this is what we're doing next. This is what it looks like. By the way, you're probably going to have people noticing. Don't forget the question, if you can remember it, who wants to start with you? And just all of these things. Great, I'm going to send you a welcome email. I'm going to add you to our client support page. Your order is going to be on the way, and we are going to touch base. Make sure you call me or text me the night before you want to start, because we are going to connect, and I'm going to run with this journey. We're going to connect for the first few days, and I support my clients weekly. And the ones that do the best are the ones that talk to me the most and are in best communications with me. I'm so excited to help you with your journey. I've just totally postured how everything's going to go. They have no confusion. Most times we think clients don't get it, but we never explained it. So that's the key. All right, Dawn, that's my total wrap up on the share call. Does anyone have any questions on that, or do you have anything you want to add?
I love it, Brad. Seriously, you're nailing it. Carolina just asked, Carolina, I hope I'm saying that right. What if somebody asks if there's like a trial order, or if they can return if they don't like their food?
I say you're not ready.
Yep.
All right, guys, I want you guys to feel my energy right now, you guys. Like, this is a really relaxed call. You are the badass. And by the way, I'm sorry if that's offending anyone this morning. I didn't plan on going this direction. Do not let other people throw you off your game. Oh, is there a sample? Is there a this? Have compassion. Listen to them. Meet them where they're at. But don't get out of your zone. Oh, is there a sample pack? Well, tell me why you want a sample pack. Did I not explain something correctly there? Tell me a little bit more about that. Do not go down their diety, like concept-y ways. You are the badass. You are the coach. You're the one that changed their life. You set the structure. I was not planning on being this bold this morning, so hopefully you guys are liking it. Seriously, you guys, I have spent so much of my time learning this the hard way, because, by the way, it goes just back to coffee and consistency. That's what I got for you. I've learned this because I've continued to do this over and over and over again. I've watched people tell me, no, I've got this after I've lost my weight, gained my weight back. I've had people be like, oh, blah, 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 can you do this? No, I'm not faltering. Hey, literally last month, hey, I've been a client before. I just want to order the food. I'm not really interested in it. I know it's an optimal health program. They literally said that. But I just want to treat it like a diet. Hey, you know what? Unless you're really ready to get healthy, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, honestly, like if you're just going to order as a diet, I really would recommend you don't. I don't want you to gain your weight back. You don't let your clients tell you how it's done, but you build a relationship and you build trust. Enough said. I think I'm off on my soapbox today. Great question though, Carolina. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. She's such a gem. I love her. But these are all the things that I had to learn because my first clients bossed me around. And it's so funny. My mom told the story last week about how I almost quit coaching because my first client was really, really a pain and told me everything about it. And I just wasn't strong enough to be like, dude, just stay with the process. All right, I literally am off my soapbox. So let's move into this next part here. All right, Dawn. So that's the thing. You set the tone from the beginning, and that's what it's all about. So I'll go from there. So we're going to talk about really quick as we wrap up here, the idea of integrating your clients for the first 30 days. And as we wrap up here with the last few minutes, I want to bring on April. So I brought on April because she runs the highest frontline volume, and she has consistent frontline volume. She doesn't lose a lot of clients. She does the same things. I don't even know what it is that she does, but I guarantee she does the exact same things I do. So April, come on here and just give us a blurb. You run 17 and over 18,000 frontline volume. I'm being serious. And some people are probably like, oh my gosh, April, how do you do that? Systems and practice and leading back on structure. Literally everything we've talked about here. But you're also really good, and you really listened to me and Lori on how to connect with people and be autonomy supportive and guide them through the process. Give us some of your biggest gold nuggets on how you integrate clients and how you build that relationship in their first 30 days.
Okay, thanks, Brad. First of all, oh my gosh, I'm going to listen to this recording over and over again to hear everything you did in that health assessment and how you deal with the objections. That was unbelievable. But getting back to something you said early in the call, it really is about establishing the trust with the person, because even if you've known them for a long time, they don't know you as a health coach. And if they're a referral or something, they don't know you at all. I had literally had 3 new clients this week say to me that they had never experienced a program like this because of what I was sharing with them, the community, etc. I mean, I literally did. It's like, wow, you setting me up for this call or what? But it was pretty cool. Okay, so what I do is I start off right away. Everything I do is just what the steps have been laid out by our leadership. That's all I do, honestly. I first, after they've signed up that day, I send them the welcome email letter. Then I track their, when I get the thing saying their box has been shipped, I track it so that I know when it's going to be there, and I put a note in my calendar when it's going to get there, and then I send them your box will arrive email when I know what day it's going to arrive. I welcome them that very first day that I've signed them up in the client support page. I don't wait till they get their box. I want them to see our community right away. I then confirm their start date from, when I know that their box is going to arrive. I do the night before call. I've talked to a few people that said, oh yeah, I just sent them that text. You need to talk to them. Don't tell them to read the Optavia guide. Read it through briefly with them. Point out where the journal is. Go through page 18 and 19. I can't stress that enough. Don't trust them to understand that. You need to do page 18 and 19. Then I text, after that call, I text them the night before call. Then every morning, I text them to day 1 through 8. Day 1 through 4, in the afternoon, evening time frame, I call them to check on how they're doing, ask any questions that they have. This is really the key part of when you're establishing that trust with them. After 8 days, I do a check-in assessment with my coach via Zoom. The reason I do it via Zoom is because, number one, if you can get somebody to do Zoom that first time, you can get them to be into our Habits of Health call. You can get them to be in your client support Zooms. Zoom was scary to me the first time. I was resistant the first time. But my coach emphasized how important it was, so I was like, okay, I did it. And as we all know on this call, you do it one time, it is not a big deal. But you got to get that one time. Then I establish weekly check-ins after the point that I've gotten to that 8-day thing. So and like we said in the past things, I establish what day that's going to be. My day to check in with people is X day. I'm going to be calling you on that day. I don't tell them exact time, but I just tell them so they have an expectation. But if they need to reach out to me at any time, I'm available by phone or text, and I emphasize that. And then I encourage participation in the client support page, the Habits of Health call on Wednesday nights, and I go through from the beginning and throughout the importance of using the companion guide along with Dr. A's Habits of Health. And how I posture that is that everybody has different triggers. And so by going through the companion guide, you're going to be able to identify your own triggers and hopefully get your own strategies for how we're going to deal with that. So that's what I've got for you, Brad.
Hot dang. That was amazing. Oh, you say you run really high frontline volume and you do a great job and people refer you clients. I wonder why. And by the way, none of that stuff was unattainable for anyone else. So again, practice makes perfect, April. So love it. Again, like, was it 4 or 5 months ago, you weren't running the same size business you are now. Consistency. I love it. So let's move on. I want to do one more from another person. Cindy Wood, just proving the fact that consistency and effort and structure does it from anywhere. Cindy, you are at a lake somewhere. You are also really good at this. You ran the second highest frontline volume in the month of June. Give us some of your goals on this subject as we wrap up today.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your video is a little bit off,
Okay.
but I can hear you well. The lake looks amazing.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Well, also then that quickly the fact that I was
All right, wait, hold on. Let's try one more time. Try it one more time.
unmute there.
There you go.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Okay, so I went through a period of time where I was questioning if I wanted to keep coaching because I was so stressed out about supporting my clients. I just want to throw that out there. And when a while back when Ashley did a period of a training about being articulate with your clients, it totally rocked my world. And so one thing, don't avoid these trainings when you really need it the most, because I always am on trainings and I get something constantly. I have been changing things every week a little bit to make it so that I love my job more. So I just wanted to point that out. I've become artistic with supporting my clients. And that has been huge to me, to love what I do. I remember when people would say, oh, my favorite day of the week was supporting clients, and I was dreading it. And I am, totally being honest about that. And so now I've become artistic and I love it. And so that was huge. And I thank Ashley for that word, because that word made such a difference in the feeling. So just evolving my techniques. I just think that what I'm doing right now is perfect, because somebody's going to come up with something that inspires me and gets me excited, and I want to work on it too. So following this is so important. I follow the structure. I, tell my clients as I'm signing them up what their support is going to look like throughout the series. Or throughout the series as they're getting going, what they can expect, what it's going to feel like, what we're going to do, how we're going to do a celebration call with my support team, and be able to ask more questions and to celebrate their excitement and everything. So that's a big thing. Then I also, on the night before, I have them watch the night before video, which is amazing, and make sure that they know to go through their Optavia guide with it. And then we talk about it the night before, and I get them excited about what's going on. And I remind them that we're going to do a celebration call and that I'll be talking to them tomorrow and that kind of stuff. So I'm always there and encouraging them and letting them know that we're going to be, we're going to have this open line of communication, and we're always going to, be connecting. I encourage them to, I welcome them, of course. After I sign them up as a new client, I welcome them to the support group. And I encourage them, even on the post, to encourage and be encouraged. And so to share with other people things, ask questions, whatever. And then I always make sure that I am in there as a coach, commenting, liking, asking questions of everybody else's clients, because we want to be excited for them and we want to posture doing that, because that's what integrates them. That's what makes them excited about what's going on. And I have been loving lately really talking about non-scale victories with my clients, and then just saying, oh my gosh, do you know, remember how so-and-so did that on the page? Will you please share that on the page? Because everybody heard the non-scale victories. People have been going crazy. I don't want to brag, but I'm going to brag, because our support page is absolutely on fire and amazing. And it's mainly our clients that are running it. And it is so exciting. But that's because we worked our butts off to make it happen. We pulled them in there. We encouraged them. We got them excited about it. We talked about non-scale victories, and that is what integrates your clients more than anything. you know, the number, the weight thing, it hardly ever comes up. Of course, when it comes up, it's usually the client that brings it up, and we always steer it around to the non-scale victories. That's what gets them excited. Gosh, I think that is, you know, that is pretty much it. Oh, one thing that I do is I do have them opt in on the night before. This is reverse way back. Opt in for the Optavia 30 texts, so that they get the link to the Habits and Health call every single week. And, you know, they're going to get their 30-day text, but they're going to get the link to the Habits Health call forever unless they opt out of the text. So I think that's it. That's me, or what I do.
That is it. Cindy, thank you so much for tuning in. I was so upset because I was worried that we weren't going to have you, and then you dropped the knowledge bomb. So you guys, make it an artwork. So as I wrap up today, this is what I want to share with you guys. And give me some feedback. I want to hear one thing you guys took away in the chat that really made the difference as we wrap up here today. Cindy, April, so good. This is your support structure, your schedule, and this. Lean on structure. For those that look at April, I'm sorry to tell you, April's not that amazing. Neither am I or Dawn or whatever, whoever's talking on the call. Cindy's pretty cool. But we lean on structures. We don't try to be, Ashley said this at some point. I can't remember where it was. She was a genius. She's like, the people, if you're trying too hard, it's because you don't have a structure to lean back on. And if you don't have a structure to lean back on, you can't expect someone else to lean on that structure either. So use your client support. When you bring on a client, my gauge for how well a client call goes is how much I laughed with them during that call and how much I heard about them and how much they felt heard. Then how well I laid out how it's going to go. Again, we're the guide. Lay out how it's going to go with them. Support them through their first week. There are actual stats that improve this big time. But yeah, the first week, as soon as I get off the phone, I want them integrated in that page. And you have to remember, anytime someone does something new, it's a habit, you have to build it. So keep bringing them back. The first month, when I start that client, their health assessment goes right on top. So I look at it every time I open up. I have all my pre-clients here. And then you go in file folder the first month client. Focus on these clients because that's the integration month. That's going to set the tone for them. Do you guys want to, if I didn't call my clients this week, guaranteed every single one of them, okay, maybe only one would maybe go off plan because my clients don't rely on me to pump them up because they've chose health. I'm just facilitating and celebrating victories along the way. Then after their first month, I move them into the next one here. So the last thing I want to say about that is I add them to the support page. I send them the welcome email. I send them the text. And I basically let them know what's going to be next. I always leave them with what's next. I support them through the first 4 days, focusing on fat burning. I make sure they're good throughout the weekend. And yes, a celebration call. We'll get more into this next week. We do that somewhere in their first month, ideally at the end of their first week. Let them know there's community. Set that up on their normal celebration day, on your celebration day that you have the structure. We spent the whole first call doing structure setup. So that's perfect on that. And so the last thing is when I've laid out all of those things, you guys can kind of start to see the little artwork pieces that we dripped in there. So on the start of their second week, when they're down weight, they're feeling it. They're integrated in the community. I probably saved their butt one time, or I really encouraged them to go back to the guide because, again, I don't tell my clients everything. I bring them back to the guides. They're so excited that when that next order comes up on the end of in the middle of their second week or after the second week on plan, I'm going to say, great, remember when we talked about that? I'm going to show you how to update that. It's going to be, I'm going to let them know how many boxes. It's 21 to 23 boxes on your next order to keep on going. And I just assume they're going to keep on going because they're probably not near to switching up their plan yet. I know when they update that order, that's like the seal. That's like the bow on their first month. When they've got that figured out, they know the system, they know the layout, they're plugged in, they've met the support team, they know it's not a diet. And one thing I'm personally looking for as I wrap up today is I'm looking for that one time they started to falter and look at it as a diet. And I was like, wait, no, you're doing good. No, remember, we're building a lifestyle here. That's what this is for. And they're like, oh my gosh, if I didn't have my meals or you to lean on or the support committee or whatever, that's when they would start going backwards. They caught that. And that's what makes a client for life is when you bring that value and you always let them know how it's going to go. We'll come back with some more steps on this next week, because this is really what sets the tone for great clients. And guys, by the way, can you imagine anyone that's being supported like that? How could they not continue How could they not refer because they're going to be shrinking? It's so awesome. And how could they possibly not look at paying it forward when the time is right, especially if we've dripped coaching in there or referrals like we've talked about? So that is the artwork of it. That's the flow of it. So many of you guys do this so well. So the last thing I want to say here today, you guys, as we wrap up is, wow, this is really good feedback in the chat. So this is really good. So as we wrap up today, I just want to help you guys remember where we're at here. Let's see here. I went to that slide. We are on the 19th of the month. You guys are kicking butt. We're practicing our connections. We're practicing really getting good at this stuff. If you heard some stuff today that you're like, oh man, I'm not really doing that. This is the only thing you need from somebody to help them be a successful client, is that connection between you and them, that this program is going to work for them. If you only have that, if you had to give me one tool, it would be that. So remember, you guys are doing well. We just checked out where we were at the beginning of the month. But right now, as we finish up this month, I want you guys, we're going to do an Accelerate Coach Incentive this week. And I did this with talking to a bunch of the other leaders because I said, if we had good participation, if we had great energy, if we had awesome people doing the do and doing the steps, because I'm not interested in just bringing on coaches into our business. I'm interested in bringing in coaches that are going to duplicate transformation in people's lives. And you guys have been doing it. So for the next 72 hours, here's how it's going to go. You guys have been layering, dripping, and bringing people on. You guys probably brought your list today. You probably have coach candidates that you're looking at, or people that you see for that. For the next 72 hours, we will match any scholarship that you personally want to put on for a coach. So if you've been layering it or dripping or want to invite, a lot of you guys have a lot of people, we will do that for 72 hours. Here's the only two things you have to do is when you've talked to them, or if you want to talk to them, message us and let us know why they message me and your support team. Let us know why that person's a coach candidate. We want to qualify people and why they're going to become a great coach. And then let us know when the $25 or $50 on the account, and we will match that. And then, of course, we'll start the process of getting them started. So that's the incentive we have for you. The reason why we're doing this is because you guys are doing the steps, learning this, and that's what's going to duplicate when your coaches come on. Plus, September is a great time to bring on new coaches. Plus, we have the Accelerate Incentive. So that's what we have for you guys. My last thing is, guys, just keep practicing and staying consistent. Like Cindy said, she almost quit coaching at one point. We all get in our head sometime. Anytime you're in your head, get right back into action and get right back into structure. How well you set up your structure is going to support how well you flow this and how you keep going. We're on the 19th. Many of you guys are planning on where you're going to finish up this month at. We have about 2 weeks left. Go make it the best possible and keep doing what you're doing, because your consistency keeps bringing in rewards. So with that being said, Dawn, any last final words? This call was incredible. I loved the chat.
I've been loving the energy of this call all along, Brad. So just thank you everyone for bringing the knowledge bombs, and I am excited for the next 72 hours. This is going to be a blast. Nothing major to add, Brad, just that it's awesome. Keep staying consistent, doing the do. Remember, it's practice. It's progress, not perfection. So lean in, reach out to your support team, and never forget to just show up each day and do the best that you can do. If you show up every day with people on your heart and you go to bed each night knowing that you did your very best, that's what it's all about.
Yep, exactly. Proud to be spending Saturday mornings with the Coffee and Consistency crew, doing the do. Go out there this week, make more connections, focus on what your business needs, and let's bring more people into this. One step at a time, that's how you build this. So reach for that next height of this business this month and keep the action going. If you have someone you want to bring on, this is the incentive. Have a great weekend, everybody. Congratulations for investing in yourself. And for those in the Portland area, I'll see you at the event in 1 hour. All right, bye guys.